I tell you people, Istv in the building right now. There's the dawn. I tell you, I'm ready. I'm set. It's all about sports Monday review show. Yes, I know Manchester United in the mud. Don't ask me question, people. I'm fuming. What's wrong with all my players? We're going to talk about it tonight. But first, let me welcome everybody. This is Istv Monday Sports Review Show with the Dawn in the building. I'm not always here alone. I'm always with my gang. Let's do this. Let's check. I'm looking too. I'm ready, people. All right, let's go straight into this. The talking points today. This is how we do it. This is how we roll. If you haven't subscribed, like the video, what are you goddamn waiting for? Subscribe. Don't look at me. Subscribe. Click the button. Subscribe. Join the community. You don't need video. Let's go into straight the talking points. We first start welcoming the great guys. Kunle is ready. He's fuming. Look at his face. It's not getting it easy. He couldn't believe it. 1-0. What is the gear doing? Look, your friends also joining us. After they are happy. Robbie also joining me. So yeah, for the first time, Chelsea has won. Finally, we're ready. Let's go this way. Okay, point. Moment. We'll be right back. Yes, I'm back. As you like on the video, we're getting started. This is EPL week 335 review. It's almost going down on this league right now. Let me work on this project, man. Yes, I hear me loud and clear. On Friday, your internet was doing some menstruation. I don't know. Whether it's some period. What's going on, bro?
We're done. Good evening. We are staying up. No relegation this season.
Oh, I saw your message. You said club focus, don't be Chelsea today. Yes.
Yeah, it has been Chelsea for so long now. Pleased about the win, although I know the performance can improve. The goal is just to try not to keep losing games, and I'm pretty sure against Forest at the weekend they'll probably pick up a point or 3. Then the final 3 games they're going to lose. I'm pretty sure of that as well. But we are hearing some news about the managerial appointment. It seems it will be sorted this week. So it seems it's going to be Mauricio Pochettino that is going to replace Graham Potter. So hopefully he's able to get in early, also talk to the guys on ground, Frank Lampard and the directors, and hopefully they can ship out so many players. We are hearing that he wants to bring in a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and also a striker. So let's see how that goes. And also at the top of the table, I think Arsenal are obviously going to push Man City this season in the final game weeks of the season. So I'm looking forward to the title race as well.
All right. Let me call on Kunle. Kunle, calm down. I know it is. Let's tell them it is what it is. All right, all the way from Lagos. Kunle, are you ready? Bro, what's going on? I know you're fuming. Let me look at that face, pretty face. All right, you're welcome to the show, bro.
Yeah, good evening, Don, and good evening to everyone out there. I'm not fuming.
Oh,
I'm not
great.
angry.
Great.
I'm not angry. I'm fine.
All right.
I'm very fine. Yeah, very, very fine.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to call on this great gentleman as well. He has been rocking the Twitter page on our Istv. His name is Engineer. I always call him Engineer Robbie. Engineer Robbie, what's going on? How you doing, bro? You're welcome.
Good evening to you, Dylan. Good evening to Dylan. Good evening to the guys in the studio. Yeah, up Chelsea, and of course, let me say, up my to Kunle as it is. Yeah. I think right now a whole lot is going on with the club. I just tweeted right now that the same Brighton that didn't allow United to drink water and keep the cup, as we say it right here in Nigeria, are being handed some very, very serious lessons by Everton in front of their fans at the Amex Stadiums.
Can you imagine?
And just like I said, that everything about life is perspective. Yes, Kunle can argue every day of the week, saying plenty things. But I will say something, that if you really want to build a team, you have to look at people who bring something to what you actually want to build. And I'll tell you the truth, I really don't rate players like Anthony. I don't rate them today. I don't rate them tomorrow. Yes, Kunle will counter the argument saying that I should check how many goals, how many this, how many that. And I will say something, which is, what threat whatsoever does this guy carry? Most of the United players do not have this business-like approach to football. And that is why the success of this team, we will never be consistent over the years. it won't be. Look at the howler that David De Gea practically just dashed West Ham 3 points yesterday. And like I said, you just begin to look at the facts that what are the things being said by the coach? Yes, the coach is not the one to leave the field and come and play the ball for the players. And of course, what are the things even these players tell themselves on the field of play? But the truth is, if I begin to extend my speech,
Yeah, yeah.
it just more or less tells you,
Yes, you have to
it
hold
just
on.
more or less,
Robbie.
yes, as I said, that it just begins to tell you the perspective of what is going on at the club. So on that note, I say good luck to United, and hopefully, I hope they don't make top four. So at least to be a lesson learned for them for next season.
All right, you're welcome to the show, bro. Once again, let me welcome this last person, last man standing on this channel. His name is Nubia Prince. Nubia Prince, talk to me. Are you ready, bro? As I'm flying. Kunle, can you imagine? Nubia Prince, can you hear me loud and clear? No, I think I lost you. All right, guys, let's get into this. This is all we have for today. Let's look at the talking point straight up. Where's my talking point? Yes, we're looking at the game 35 review and also the review for the Champions League and Europa League this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and the Thursday. Oh, Prof is around. Prof, what's going on, bro?
Yo.
I don't.
We did there now. We did look at that. I don't want colors. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. It's good to be on the show. A lot of things happened during the weekend. Man United about to bottle the top four. From a position of title contenders to bottle top four. It was a very bad performance. But let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's look straight up to the results over the weekend. We have Bournemouth losing to Chelsea. I want to start from you, Prof. On this Chelsea game, how did you guys? Yoruba they will say,
they say, there's a saying that even the broke clock is right twice in a day. So that's exactly what I'll call that game, because eventually we're bound to meet or we're bound to get 3 points from a game. Because it's been coming. There's no way a club like Chelsea, will continue to lose. They will somehow sneak a result out, and that was what happened. I wouldn't say the performance was all that exceptional. I mean, Bournemouth had chances to score and kill the game. So it was just we just brought that 3 points from nowhere, to be honest. But Madueke started the game. His second start in 2 games, and it was very bright.
Very well.
Yes, it was very bright. He just needs to make some good final decisions. And then Raheem Sterling and Joao Felix came off the bench to win us the 3 points. Hakim Ziyech was very pivotal in that as well, with his pinpoint crosses and everything. I will not say Chelsea are back. We're far from back. We just obviously had to secure the points to avoid anything about relegation or no relegation. So we're officially safe now from that. And look, I mean, we still have Man United who are licking their wounds at the moment. We still have to go to Old Trafford, and we still also have to go to the Etihad, to play. Which those 2 games will be very, 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 very difficult. We also welcome Nottingham Forest and Newcastle to Stamford Bridge. And what will be our final 4 games of the season. I'm still wondering what is taking so long with Mauricio Pochettino. There's still the talks that keep on going. The latest I heard is that he has been speaking to the club about some signings that we should make. We should change the goalkeeper. We should bring in a midfielder and a striker as well. So I don't know how true those reports are, but it's taking too long. I think by now they should have announced him, because you start to wonder if there's a change of mind somewhere or something is wrong somewhere, because I'm suspecting it's possible the Spurs hierarchy might be speaking to him too, or even Madrid, because we all know if Barcelona loses this Champions League game tomorrow, that would be him. It might be the end of his realm at Madrid, and Madrid might start to look at different managers, of which I heard Pochettino might be a part of those managers. So we need to act fast. and get it over the line so that we can start to plan for next season.
All right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kunle, you watched the match against Man City versus Leeds. Do you watch it?
Man City leads.
Yeah.
I only saw a bit. I saw a bit, not
Do you
all
have
of it.
not all of it? I
Yeah.
think I want to, I want you to talk about it if you watch a glimpse of it.
Well, the only thing I would say was I was annoyed that this guy didn't score,
Scored.
Erling Haaland, because I made him my captain.
Oh my
So
goodness.
he only gave me 4 points. But that aside, I think it was, at the point I was actually even tipping that maybe Leeds United might win, based on the manager bounce thing, that
Mhm.
but I mean, City had two first half goals, and from that moment it was settled. Even though they came back, I think late in the second half, they scored a goal. Can't remember the minute, but that's the thing about Man City. If you want to beat Man City,
Mm,
you have to be ahead of them before they come back. Once they are already in the lead,
mm.
it's very, very, very difficult, to come back against them. So, I mean, I feel it was just business as usual for, it was just business as usual for City. Okay, Gundogan, he almost had a hat trick. So, but he missed the penalty. So, I think it's a good win. It's a good win. Everything business as usual for them. But it's not yet over. Some people think maybe that they would win their remaining games. But we are currently seeing with Everton
Mm.
beating a very impressive Brighton side. I think anything can happen. Even Newcastle, no one ever expected that Arsenal would beat Newcastle the way they did. So I think it just goes to tell you that I think it is still all to play for, and anything can happen in this remaining 3-4 games left to wrap up the season.
All right,
Yeah,
let's move.
just quickly add to what he said. I mean,
Okay.
the game started. Big Sam, the new manager for Leeds, we all knew what the strategy would be. He would sit behind the ball, and that was exactly what he did. Sat behind the ball. But if you sit behind City, if you sit, at the back waiting for City to attack you, I think they will do so, and they will eventually find the space. And that was what they did. City had lots of chances to kill the game, but they couldn't. One of the highlights of the game, as Kule said, was the penalty. Erling Haaland is the designated penalty taker for Man City. And because Gundogan was on 2 goals, he felt, he got emotional and felt, look, let me give it to Gundogan, who went on to miss. And we could see how raging, how angry and annoyed Pep Guardiola was on the touchline, telling Haaland that he had to take the penalty next time. So they made it difficult for themselves, because at 3-0, the game would have been over. But then Leeds United came, into the game with a goal by Rodrigo, and then they made it a nervous, very, very nervy finish at the end of the game. So I think Erling Haaland needs to learn from that one. He has to assume responsibility, and look, the game is never over until it is over. Yeah.
All right.
But I just want to ask though, I don't understand why Guardiola was raging at Haaland. I mean, if anything, that was sportsmanship from Haaland. They were in control of the game at
Yeah,
that
Kunle, he
point.
had he
You
had to be
understand?
professional. I can make an
Yeah.
example of when Chelsea was playing Aston Villa, where on the last day of the season, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
I said Shea will remember this. We were playing on the same day with United, I think so, to fight for the
Yeah.
title, and Chelsea were 2 goals ahead. And Drogba
It was
was
against
tied on
Wigan,
goals with
Prof.
Rooney against Wigan. Thank you very much. Drogba was tied on with Rooney, and he wanted to but he had a penalty, I think, for the
Mm.
second goal. He wanted to take it, and Frank Lampard took the ball off him. We all know Frank Lampard and how good he is taking penalties. And then he took the ball off Drogba, and Drogba was angry. He was visibly angry, and he was he was angry that he couldn't play the penalty, and Lampard played and scored. And then later on in the game, Drogba went ahead to even Lampard set him up for a hat trick, and they won the golden boot. What I'm trying to say is it's not over until it is over. At 2-0, the game is still open. So Haaland, being the designated penalty taker, I think he has missed just one this season, and he has scored a lot. He should have assumed responsibility and taken the penalty. That's why Pep was angry with
Uh,
him.
But
Thank
but
you,
the i-
thank you
but the
very much,
irony
Paul. But
but the irony wait but the irony of this is Haaland has clearly missed, right? And he's not above missing. There's no guarantee that he would score. So what if he had
there's a
scored? He
guarantee
had
you will
missed.
score. Hence why you
There is
made the
no,
designated taker
no.
of that team.
Good wait.
See, let us call it what it is.
It's not
You cannot say the coach does not have any reason not to get angry. What if this
I
United in the dying stages of that game had equalized and they had dropped points? Will you come back and
Exactly.
say the same thing? So
but
it
do you
is the
not
reason
know?
why the coach is there, and it is the reason why an instruction was passed. You are the designated penalty taker until it is stated otherwise. It wasn't stated
Oh,
otherwise.
oh,
So
But
that is how the thing is. There is a hierarchy when things like this are done. So let us leave this part of why is the coach angry. If you go into professional coaching right now, you would also do the same thing. If you don't do it, then your career as a coach will not last as you want it to be. There are stated rules and guidelines as regards the conduct of players. The match that Burnley lost against Manchester City, I have the video on my phone. Vincent Company tore into his players in the dressing room. I mean, he went gaga with them. He used unprintable words on his players. Does that make him less a coach? No. Does that mean he doesn't like his players? No. But we all know, or we all saw the reaction the players gave after that match. They went on to win the league with games to spare. So you cannot come out and say why is the coach angry. They could have lost that match. They could have done that match. So we need to blame the coach. And it is this thing that come and say the coach is not the one to stick the ball into the back of the net.
all right. I don't even care about this Man City. All I care right now, I want us to dissect is the match of West Ham versus Manchester United. In fact, is a club focus for today, and I'm going to start with you, Sheye, on Manchester United, because you drop one comment on the group chat. You said the Manchester United, the top four is still in our hands. So I want you to come in right now to explain what you mean by Manchester United club is still, is still in our hands. Consider the fact that look at the game. Our goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in the world, with 15 clean sheets. What do you have to say, Sheye, onto this one? What is wrong with Manchester United?
Well, the reason I said they're still in their hands is because obviously they're currently in fourth. And also the fact that their game in hand is against Chelsea, and we all know that Chelsea against the so-called big sides this season, they've lost most of the matches. They are still yet to beat a team that is above them in the table. So that's why I feel that game is Man used to lose, and we all know how strong Man U are at Old Trafford. They tend to, I think their issues are away from home. They tend to pick up points at Old Trafford. But I feel in general, I said this on either here on the show or elsewhere that when Man U were winning games, when people said they were back, although I know Kunle he had other ideas when people said Man U were back. I felt their games were largely down to individual brilliance and not what not necessarily what maybe you couldn't have said maybe they were well coached. I know Ten Hag has done a pretty decent job considering the fact that he just joined Man U in the last summer. But I feel in general during their really impressive spell, it was mostly Rashford banging in the goals and De Gea at the time making huge saves. There were a few games where he was actually the one who bailed them out. I remember the game against Leicester City, I think in February, where he made a few saves. Leicester missed chances, and then at the other end, Rashford went forward and he was able to score a brace in that game, I believe. But I feel it was not sustainable. You can't limit your winning runs to individual brilliance. You need the team to contribute in general. I don't think the other forwards contribute their quota of goals enough. I feel I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers here. Maybe Kunle will be able to help with that. But I feel other forwards. We all know Vals Vegas is not the goal scorer. He tends to add other things to the team, but he's not a goal scorer. Martial has had issues with injury, although I know Ten Hag says the team plays better when Martial is in the team. Anthony, I feel, is really limited. I know he can score goals from nothing, maybe scoring from long range, but I feel in general, he's a limited player. So you wonder, so where will the goals come from? Bruno Fernandes is someone who previously was someone who chipped in with the goals and assists, but I feel playing him in several positions has not helped.
Mm, mm.
There are times when he plays on the right, at times he plays deeper, where he actually helps in terms of being able to play balls over the top for players running in behind. But I feel they need Bruno to play closer to goal because he's someone who I know that he can contribute his quota of goals and assists. So I just feel in general, um, they need more they need more match winners, and this is actually something that is weird because under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man U had several match winners. They had goals coming from several players, but currently, it's something that they tend not they seem not to have. And finally, I think the major issue with Man U is the fact that they struggle to control games. I've seen that in several games in recent weeks, particularly against Sevilla in the Europa League, where they could not control the game when they led 2-0, but they struggled to kill the match and make the game really boring. It was more or less end to end, despite having a 2-0 advantage. So I just feel the lack of control over matches, the lack of match winners has had a huge effect on Man U's tipping form.
All right. Kunle, look at those questions about the what's the problem, which you're a Manchester United fan. If but I want to ask, is it the team fatigue, David De Gea, longevity in question? You know, so many people have been saying they should, that they shouldn't award him any contract. They should bring in another goalkeeper. And also, is it the manager tactics lately? Using what's the name of that Weg? In the not position of Weghorst in position number 10, and also the players' attitude. I mean, the forward misfiring. Look at those chances. We'll have buried the match in the couple of 20 minutes. We'll have 2 or 3 goals. And also, is it because of the club sales dilemma at this position? I mean, what's your take on this? Questions I've put up on the.
Okay, so for me, Manchester United's problem is not down to one factor. It's multiple factors, and I think you've listed all of them. I believe fatigue has set in because when you are on such a good run of form for a long time, especially when you are not even used to it, judging by where they came from last season, it was always going to be difficult for them to keep that thing going. Shaya has already explained it very well, saying that look, there were elements of luck sometimes because they couldn't control games when they were leading. So it was going to get to that point where you would meet a very good team, and that run of you score first and you think you can run away with it despite not controlling the game, it will come back and haunt you. And I think that is what is showing here. So I think De Gea's longevity, I think that is fair. I think David De Gea should have left the club from that moment when he wanted to go to Real Madrid and it didn't work. The truth is, he might have made as many saves and clean sheets and all, but ask what is his contribution to the overall, to the gameplay and all. It's not just about saves. Anybody can make saves. That's what the likes of Crystal Palace goalkeepers and those at the bottom end, that's what they do. But it shouldn't just be all about saves. There should be other things you are contributing into the team, and the gear doesn't seem to do that. Even when it comes to even influencing the team as a captain, I don't think the gear is somebody who can control the back line. I don't think he can. So for me, I think his time is up, and we need to move on from him. We were even supposed to move on from him. Yeah, we were supposed to even move on from him with Dean Henderson after he impressed. He had was he Sheffield United or Nottingham
Sheffield Nottingham Forest, but he got
no. There was a club where he had 2 impressive loan spells. I'm trying to remember now.
Sheffield United, I think.
Sheffield United, okay. So we thought
Sheffield and Nottingham Forest.
Okay, it's Sheffield United, I remember now. Nottingham Forest was this season. he had impressive, even when they came to the Premier League, he was instrumental in their survival. I remember. I think they finished ninth that season. And we gave the guy a long-term contract, and felt, oh, the guy is under pressure. But look, the guy is still there, so I think he needs to go. The only club seal, I think it is there because because if the club is going in the right, is supposed to go in the right direction, you would expect that we have new owners that can back the manager with funds. Because I think personally, the Glazers do not have funds that they will give this man, to buy the right spec of players and all of that. So that could be it. Then player attitudes, you can't rule that out. United players have always had they've always had issues. They've always had attitude issues. It's well documented, so definitely it affects form. The only thing I will not blame, and that's one thing I'm not going to blame Ten Hag for anything in this team. I know you would say you should give the manager some blame and all, but I would rather cut Ten Hag some slack because if he is having to, do his tactics one way or the other, like play Bruno on the wing, play Vergust as a 10 and all of that, I think it is clearly because these players cannot implement his style of play. So he has to improvise. And we can't deny it that with all those improvisations he did, we were actually able to get results. And that is why United have been in the top four for so long. If not, maybe United would have been at the bottom end of the table. So it's actually as a result of the fact that the team isn't actually good enough. So he has to improvise on these things. If not, if the team was solid and players did the roles as they should and all, even without Vegas, I'm sure we wouldn't even have gotten him. But as Sheye mentioned, he has to start offering other things apart from goal scoring. Because you think, okay, you have a striker, but you find out that this guy drops deep so much. Even when he's up front, the ball hardly comes to him. They would rather give the ball to Rashford or someone else, which for me is even a problem because when people say United need a striker, my own question is: if we get a striker,
who's going
to pass the ball to him? Is it Rashford? Is it Anthony?
Never.
Is it Fernandez? Is it Sancho?
They all want to take the shot.
Everybody wants to score. So I always laugh when we say, "Oh, we need striker." Who is going to give him the ball? Is Manchester United structured in such a way that it's centered around the player that you give the ball? Do we have the players that can give him the ball? Those are question marks. So
all right.
I won't blame Ten Hag for anything, but it clearly shows that there is still a whole lot for the man to do.
All right, because of our time, I want to ask Prof. What's your thoughts about this problem facing Manchester United, not scoring goals and all sorts? What's your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there was a tactical problem for me from Eric Ten Hag yesterday in the game. I don't think there's no way in the world he has Antonio Martial on the bench, Garnacho and Sancho, even though they've been flattering to deceive. There's no way he has those players and still goes ahead to use one of the best number 10s in the Premier League, out of position. I totally disagree with Kunle when he says who is going to provide a striker at the board. I think Bruno is one of the best at doing that and supplying the attack. I think Eriksen too is made for that. There are lots of players in that United team that can create for the striker. But the fact that the United don't have an out-and-out 9 at the moment is forcing Eric Ten Hag to possibly use Rashford there and then take something away from putting Bruno on the left side where Rashford is supposed to be playing. So obviously United have to go out and get a striker next season. So that's the tactical issue that I saw yesterday with the game. And then also I'm looking at the body language of the United players, and for me something is wrong. I was one of the people who was saying at some point that United are going to challenge for the title. When I saw the team spirit, I saw United celebrating blocks, last ditch blocks, throw-ins, things like that. There was so much team spirit. I think Casemiro has been off it. I think the team somehow, some way, they've been off it for a while now. I'm not seeing that team spirit that I saw again anymore. I won't be surprised if there's a leak that something has happened in the dressing room or some sort like that. I won't be surprised, because I cannot see that harmony that I used to see. And then yesterday, a lot of players taking shots from 25, 30 yards when there was a pass, when they should make another pass.
Yes.
So I think there's a little problem on and off it. Maybe the absence of Rafael Varane and Martinez has affected them somehow, some way. Maybe that's also obviously that's a huge problem. But then going forward, I think Eric Ten Hag just has to use the right players in the right position and try and see where this is going to take them. I think they need to make sure they struggle, even if it means struggling and going above the line. They've been in the top four for so long to not make that Champions League spot. And making that Champions League spot is very important for him going forward into next season, to be able to sign some good players that will take the team forward. So yeah, that's what I see in the United team at the moment.
All right. Let me move on to Ehis. Ehis, can you hear me loud and clear? Do you have something to say about this club focus for today? You're welcome to the
show. On the show, man. After a short ahead to basically see, everybody has said one or two things, but for me, I'm a fundamental person. I believe in fundamental. And one of the fundamentals of football is wherever any age grade competition, attack is the first form of defense. I know we can scapegoat the gear, we can scapegoat the defense. What I've not seen with Manchester United for the past how many games, 2 or 3 games, I've not seen the attack line fire. I've not seen the attack line give what they are meant to do. I saw his stats. I think Rashford has scored how many goals in how many games. That is not encouraging at all. And in this type of league that you are, where it is very competitive, scoring goals is one of the ways you can have to disarm your opponent. And if Manchester United are not doing that at the moment, is a cause to worry. I feel for what's his name, Eric Ten Hag, because the hopes were high when he came in, and the way he started with, is it 3 Pomeling defeats or 4 defeats on the trot? And after that, credit needs to be given where it's due. He was able to stabilize the team, and we saw they went on a good run, and he has a trophy to show, even if they call it a Team Potts trophy or whatever, but at least he has a laurel, a trophy to show for it. And the problem here I see with Manchester United is basically lack of depth, because he used this same set of players over and over again. I think in past episode, I don't know who mentioned it. I don't know if I was the one that mentioned it, that once fatigue sets in, these players will lose form. I think the tipping point started against Liverpool, that game at Anfield, where as at 50, 45 minutes, they checked out already, and you could see they just couldn't control the game, and it went on a tantrum, 7-0, losing to Liverpool, one of their arch rivals. So I think that was where
7-0 for now.
No, I'm just saying that was where the tipping point began, and they just went down the slope. Like I said, squad depth is one of the factors that's affected them, because imagine, I saw a stat yesterday that Manchester United have played the highest number of games in England this season, over 52 or how many games, I'm not too sure. So that in itself affected. And Eric Ten Hag as well. Yes, like I said, the stake were high. They wanted him to do more, but he could only work with resources he had in his hands, and injuries also coming to the likes of Martinez. Martinez is instrumental to whatever Manchester United plays, especially playing from the back. De Gea has a fault, no doubt. Calamitous goalkeeping yesterday, but is his time up? Some will say yes, his time is up. That we need to look for. I heard Kunle say is the only characteristics De Gea has is to save. And I ask a question: what is the main characteristics of a goalkeeper? Is to save, and which he does. But in recent times, football has changed a whole lot. You need to have a goalkeeper that can play from the back. You need a goalkeeper that can build attack from the back. So possibly De Gea is not fitting into that profile. And for me, it's high time to say, let them shake hands and just say, kumbaya, everybody go their own way. But I just feel Eric Ten Hag needs the right resources. and also needs to stabilize the team in terms of going into the market next season in the transfer window. And I just feel and I pray and I hope he does the best, because if he doesn't do well next season, you know what the Premier League is about. Everybody will come for him, and it will just be like him deceiving everybody, thinking he can take Manchester United back to the glory days. But I just feel those are the issues. Attack wise, they are not scoring. Squad depth seems to be the issue. Basically, just those 2 pointers is what me I can see as Manchester United's problem. And with the transfer window coming very soon, I think they can solve that issue fast.
All right. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. I want to quickly tell us a match review about how do you guys, when I give them water, I'm talking about Newcastle. Assam is 2-0.
Well,
that game, I couldn't believe it. As in, I was like, how did you guys do it? You know, we all know that Newcastle are flying, you know. So how did you guys go ahead? Go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, one thing I saw yesterday in that game, I saw an Arteta who was ready to adapt to changes, and it's a pity it's coming at this point of the season, because imagine if he had tried this against Liverpool or possibly against Southampton and West Ham, possibly maybe a lot would have changed. I saw an Arteta who was ready to adapt to what the opponent was bringing, and he wasn't ready to, play his possessive or having possession throughout the game and wanting to take possession. Yeah. Newcastle, they came in, we know they were in fantastic form, started early, the crossbar saved Arsenal, because if that goal had went in, possibly would have been another story. But one way or the other, football has a way of bringing these things. Football has a way of bringing their drama. That crossbar saved Arsenal in the first minute, and Arsenal, rode the storm, because that was Newcastle's plan, to bombard Arsenal first 15, 20 minutes and get Arsenal to be out of sorts. But kudos to the guys. Kudos to the changes. Partey sitting out, Jorginho coming in. And I heard the press conference yesterday that these are the kind of games he looks out to play for. Massive crowd, massive supportership from Newcastle fans, and they brought their A game yesterday, made the 12-man count at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the match rather, and Arsenal weathered the storm. And before you know it, they just begin to, pick and pieces, picked Newcastle here and there. And one thing I faulted Newcastle for yesterday was you left the footballing part of it and thought you could, bully. Because if you look at Newcastle's players, they are big, strong, and felt maybe they could just bully Arsenal, and like they did at the Emirates. But it didn't work out for them. And that was why you saw most of the players got jaded. They got tired as at 60-something minutes. Yeah. This Brazilian guy, what was his name? The tall guy, I've forgotten his name, got tired, because it took a lot of strength for you to, run for a whole 90 minutes and also wanting to be, physical. And I just feel they played into, Arsenal played on that part and decided to take them, tread by tread. Also, beginning of the second half, the crossbar also saved, because if they had equalized at that time, impetus, momentum, they would have had the momentum to run Arsenal rugged. But Arsenal slowed the tide, got the game, nice tackles, nice game, quality game yesterday. And I wish I saw this Arsenal side against Liverpool and against Southampton and against West Ham. But it's just a pity. Those games are gone. And it's good. They won the game, put the momentum, put the pressure back on Man City, despite playing one game ahead and, reducing the point to 1 point. And the drastic change made by Arteta, I kept saying it in other platforms that I featured. I kept saying it that Arteta needs to be able to study the game and react. You don't have to always dominate, especially when it's crunch time, especially when it's crunch time of the season. Different tactics will win you games. And we've seen Pep has done that this season already. Tweaked his tactics twice against Arsenal, being the supposed informed team in the country. Tweaked his tactics twice and took the 6 point of Arsenal. So Arteta needs to learn in that stead, because if you are to win, he can talk to Ferguson, he can talk to Arsene Wenger. If you want to win the league, one formation or one style of play will not get you there. Yeah, I said it. We saw Giggs playing left full back for Manchester United back then when they were in the running for the league. So I hope he learns. But it was a wonderful performance by Arsenal because yesterday, before that game, possibly everybody thought Newcastle was going to run Arsenal ragged.
Yeah.
And it was all there. Everybody said it. But out of the blues, I don't know where that performance came out. The commentator said yesterday, this is a title contending performance. But maybe they left it a little bit too late and hoping that other teams do the work for them. Because if they want to smell the league, possibly Manchester City would have to drop 5 points, which is kind of difficult at this stage of the season. But it was a good performance from Arsenal. And I hope they take this from here into next season.
All right. Because of our time, let's quickly look at the Champions League this week. Shaya, I'm going to start up with you with this preview of Real Madrid welcoming Manchester City into Bernabeu. What's your take on this game? Shaya, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Well, we all know Man City are the favorites, but I think this is something we might probably argue and spend some more time on tonight because I know Prof will have a different point of view. But Man City are the favorites. Man City have the momentum. I've even lost count now of the number of games they've won in succession right now.
I tell you,
they seem to have so many informed players. Although, just to note something, in the recent games against Arsenal, for instance, I know Alan scored, but he seemed to miss so many chances on that night, and also against Leeds, he missed several chances too. So I know they tend to create a lot for him, but I think this is a bad time for him to not have his shooting boots on or his scoring boots on. And in a sense, I find it surprising that we are talking so much about Man City and Man City's informed players. And one player that we should actually consider in this game that can actually decide the tie is Thibaut Courtois. Someone who actually tends to stand up for himself because he feels goalkeepers are not that recognized in football. And he mentioned that at last year's Ballon d'Or ceremony after the awards, where he felt he should have ranked higher than his seventh place. We saw him make several saves in the run into their Champions League success last season. We've seen him also make a few saves in this year's competition. So I know we're all focused on the likes of Vinicius Junior, Karim Benzema, Erling Haaland, and Kevin De Bruyne. But I feel Thibaut Courtois is someone that can actually decide the outcome of this match.
All right. Moving on to the next game, that will be on Wednesday, I guess. It's Inter versus AC Milan.
Robbie, just on that City Madrid quickly. Sorry, I think what Shaya said, I think he's right. I think Haaland has been off it a little bit, and I know it's crazy saying that with all the amount of goals that he's had. I think possibly that's why Guardiola wanted him to take that penalty. He needed him to go into this game with momentum. Not like he doesn't have as much, but scoring in the last game would have been helped him better. Rudiger and Militao, I think there was going to be a battle. I think these are two very feisty defenders, especially Militao. They will be up for it against Haaland. They can frustrate him. And now that City they've changed their game. They play through Haaland. Almost everything ends up with him. I think if they shut him out, there might be a problem. I know I'm tipping City to go ahead and win the treble, but look, this is going to be a very difficult game at the Bernabeu. I think Carlo Ancelotti will have a plan for Erling Haaland and just to stifle him and frustrate him.
Are you supporting Real Madrid in this game?
No, Man City for sure. For sure. But I think it will be difficult for Haaland tomorrow. I think they will have a plan for him. Those two defenders, especially Militao, who enjoys the physical battles and things like that. So I think that's one battle to watch out for in tomorrow's game.
All right, so Robbie, what do you think about this match? Inter Milan versus AC Milan. That is Serie A.
Typically, it's derby. And of course, we all know how very feisty this tie is between these two, more or less as city neighbors, because they share the same pitch as it is. And in recent weeks, Inter Milan has been in very, very good form. Their last game, I think they won by 6 goals to nothing. So it just tells you that it seems that Inter hit the right form at the right time going into this fixture. But there's something about AC Milan that we should not take away. AC Milan also won their last game last weekend as well. And I'm trying to remember the name of this French defender. He scored more or less one of the contenders for the goal of the season,
Theo
where he
Hernandez.
picked up the goal. Theo Hernandez, thank you very much. Where he picked up the ball from his own half, and of course he had to navigate his way into the opponent's area before he was able to slot the ball into the back of the net. So for AC Milan, they have very, very good experience at this point in time in the game. And I think, aside the fact that, yes, Madrid, Manchester City offer some kind of excitement, that is more or less the game everybody wants to see. Now, I'll tell you one thing, do not take your eyes away from the game between AC Milan and Inter Milan.
Milan.
It is a game that is entrenched in a lot of history between these two clubs, both in Europe and both in Italy. So, like I said, don't be surprised. I will not be surprised if I see cats flying in this match, most potentially red cards, because these two teams will not give an inch to each other. That is just to tell you how much of a rivalry is between them.
I'm very
And you can look at it from this stage. 3 seasons ago, Inter Milan won the league. Last season, AC Milan won the league, and of course, this season Napoli won the league. So, like I said, it tells you the history between these two clubs. Two of the most successful clubs in Italian Serie A, apart from the fact that yes, Juventus is more or less like their father, but Inter Milan, AC Milan are very, very good teams in Italy, in Europe as well. So, for this game, a whole lot of fireworks will be flying, and I'm so sure that somebody's head will fall on that pitch on Wednesday.
Let's move on to the Europa League, please. Before we do our score prediction, because I learned that some of our fans and subscribers said we should be talking about what's it called? Score prediction. It will help them. Kunle, you know what I mean. So we're still coming back for the score prediction for this Champions League. I don't know whether we should be having a separate score prediction show for every big games like this, because people always call me, why don't you do score prediction? I say, I don't know about much. It's only Kunle and Shea that knows about this gimmicks. I think we have to run a program on that. I don't know where. I'm still thinking about it. So it's a very good one. So let's move on to the Europa League. Kunle, something is going to go down in this Europa League. What's your take on this Bayern Leverkusen versus Roma? And then Ehis, you are going to tell us quickly on the Juve versus Sevilla in the Europa League. All right, Kunle.
I think the Bayer Leverkusen Roma game is going to be the most interesting. I know most people will go for Juventus Sevilla because, when you think about the level of success, but I think Bayer Leverkusen Roma is interesting from the managerial perspective. Roma being headed by Jose Mourinho, who is, he needs no introduction. I don't need to start saying, I don't need to even say anything. And we have a Bayer Leverkusen headed by a player that I'm sure many of us enjoyed watching in Xabi Alonso.
Yeah,
and Alonso is doing a lot of a lot of fun with a lot of interesting things with Bayer Leverkusen at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see if him being the younger coach can get one over a Mourinho who we know is obsessed with winning.
Yeah,
He always wants to win titles. He probably wants to get the Europa League so that Roma can get into the Champions League, and then he will brag about it, him being the special one and all of that, So it's going to be a very, very interesting. That's the game I have my eyes on, and I can't wait. I don't know what the outcome would be like. I think it's going to be an open game. You would say Roma favorites, obviously, but you can't rule out a German team, that is well coached. They play well. You can't rule them out. So I think it's going to be an open game, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, moving on to the game between Juve versus Sevilla. What's your take on
Yeah,
this?
they've been both teams have been great in this competition thus far.
Yeah.
And even if this is not the competition Juventus would want to be vying at or playing at, but it is what it is. And you would see that Italian football this season has been on another level, has been on top notch. We could see that in Champions League and also in Europa League. I don't know about the Conference League, but looking at Europa League and Champions League, they have 4 teams in the semi-finals, which says a lot on how they've improved this season. And Sevilla, we know Sevilla to be tagged the owners of this competition because they've won how many? 5 out of how many? And they've been successful in this competition. Looking at how they eliminated Manchester United in the quarterfinal. I know right now Manchester United fans would be, lining behind Juventus, hoping Juventus kick them out in the quarterfinal. But football doesn't work that way. But Juventus, they've despite the issues they've had in their league and how they have crawled back to play good football again, it's going to be tricky. Sevilla knows how to handle this stage of the competition. They know how to handle it well, because at one point you thought Manchester United was going to override them in the final, and we saw how they found their way back, and in the second leg really demolished Manchester United. But you cannot write them off. Juventus as well, they have professional players, they have experienced players that have been here, done it. They know how to navigate their way in this stage of the competition as well. Di Maria and the likes, they're going to give it a good show. Right now, when it comes to European competition, I don't really like to say this would win, but I see it's a balanced game, and it all boils down to which team wants it the most or the more, whichever one is correct, because this leg will determine what will happen in Spain. And if they give Sevilla an inch, definitely they will take a mile.
Yeah. All right, guys, this is how far we can go tonight. Kunle, it seems Everton winning Brighton at the moment. Robbie?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yes, they have. Okay.
That means, have they survived? Can we say they've survived the relegation?
They're out of the relegation for now. They have not survived. Yes. They're out of the relegation for now. They have 32 points. They have 32 points. So Leicester City are back in the relegation.
They could survive. Well, but it's still not. It's not yet over. Am I right? It's not yet over.
No, it's not over yet. But the way I'm looking at it, this will give them a lot of motivation and momentum going into their remaining games, because this is exactly what we need to see. I'm surprised that we've not seen something like this from these relegation threatening teams. But you can trust Sean Dyche to do something like this. He's a master at it. So a very, very big result for them.
Yes. All right, guys. This is how far we can go tonight. Kunle, thank you so much. Ehis, one love, bro. Prof, you're wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, Sheye. One love, people. One love.
Thanks to Don.
All right, thank you so much, guys. This is how far we can go tonight. It is what it is. Let's catch up with the Champions League coming up tomorrow, and it's gonna be a fantastic one. So please smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel. The Don is signing out. Catch ya later, people.